Welcome to School Matters. I'm Joni Kopis, and today we're going to be talking about elementary programs for our K through 6th grade students. So we have 3 people on our panel today, so let's go down and introduce yourselves if you would, your name and some of your background if you would. We'll start with you, Danielle.
Sure, my name is Danielle Romine. I went to Wittenberg University for my undergraduate work, and I went to the University of Dayton for my master's, and University of Dayton for my principal's license, and University of Dayton for superintendents. I was an administrator in Clark County for several years, a teacher for 18 years, and now I'm the director of elementary.
Well, welcome to the district.
Thank you.
All right, Ty?
I'm Ty Smallwood. I went a lifelong Hamilton resident, went to school at Cumberland College and NKU for my undergrad. Went to Miami for my master's in administration and currently enrolled in an EDD program at Miami. And I'm currently working at Highland as the principal.
Very good. Kathy?
I'm Kathy Wagenfield. I went to Miami for all of my degrees, and I have been an elementary principal in Hamilton at Ridgeway Elementary. I think this is my 29th year.
Oh, welcome. Great. Danielle, I really have to commend you because when you started here in the district, I mean, you hit the ground running with lots of new programs and initiatives. So let's talk a little bit about those. First, let's talk about the Literacy Collaborative.
Sure. Literacy Collaborative comes out of the Ohio State University. It is a framework for balanced literacy. Balanced literacy means combining reading, writing, word work all together. It's all organically one. And we have been at Ohio State working to bring it here. You will have coaches in this framework. So we have a primary coach that's a K2, and then we have an intermediate coach that's a 3-6. The nice thing about Literacy Collaborative is it's that theory practice model. So our coaches will actually go to Ohio State, learn theory, bring it back here, and do practice in the classroom.
And part of that was the Principals Academy, if you will.
Correct.
Where all 8 of our elementary principals went to Ohio State.
Yes.
2 or 3 times.
Yes, 3 times.
3 times, okay.
Yeah.
And tell us, as far as the principal, was it a good learning experience?
It was phenomenal. This is best practice. It's the way to teach reading and writing. We learned a lot. We continue to slowly introduce some of the aspects to our staff, and the staff is really, really excited because it is the way to teach reading and writing. You read a lot and you write a lot.
Yep.
And you think the teachers are pretty acceptable to it all?
Yeah, I think we had an interactive read aloud, which is a component of Literacy Collaborative professional development. Our teachers went to Bridgeport and watched some of the Ohio State trainers and came back just absolutely fired up. And in February, that's nice because as the weather gets a little colder, it becomes tough, but they came back ready to go. It also has allowed us to collaborate as principals, to get on the same page on a number of different things. We've just going up to Columbus alone has been really good for us to collaborate.
So sharing different strategies from different buildings as well.
Yes.
So very good. And then you'd mentioned the Principals Academy and the 8 went up there, but then I'm sure, like you said, you came back and shared it with your assistant principals and with the teachers. And so it's a slow process. I mean, we have to be careful how we roll it out because sometimes if you do too much too soon, teachers and students could get overwhelmed. So it's a nice slow pace.
Yes, yes. We started at the administrative level, and currently we're still there. The principals are working, reading the literature, learning about it.
They have homework too.
They have homework too, yes.
Thanks, Danielle.
You're welcome. And then next year it'll start to push out to the teachers. The coaches will go to the academy, we'll go up to Ohio State, we'll learn. So day 1 next year, you're not going to see a difference.
Right.
They have to go and learn, and so it's a gradual release model. Hopefully by mid next year, we'll start to see those coaches pushing into the classrooms. Obviously, there are teachers out there, as Kathy just said, who are eager and ready to go, and they go for it. They can continue on as they wish. So, and then hopefully then the next year, which really will be year 3, if you think about it, we will have full implementation at the classroom level.
And you mentioned the coaches. It's nice that you'll have, like you said, 2 coaches at each building, so you have it right there that as a great resource in professional development.
Yes.
And I think what's great is we have a lot of veteran staff members at Highland who have seen the full gamut of reading programming. So they have a good framework of understanding generally of reading, and then building on that framework with intense training and having coaches in the building and having us trained as well as instructional leaders as opposed to just transformative leaders has been really great.
I think teachers, learning from other teachers, their peers, and their colleagues. I mean, I think that's great professional development. Again, great way to interact and share ideas.
Absolutely, and I really think the way we're doing this, rolling it out, is going to make a big impact on the success we're going to be seeing. I think even the people we were meeting with from Ohio State were really excited about how we were doing this. Like, we were the best district as far as how we're rolling it out. So I think we're going to see a lot. In the past, we've adopted textbooks. It may have been August or September, you go for a half a day, and then here you go. This, I think, is going to be very, very authentic.
Because, any program initiative's great. You have the resources, but again, you have to have that professional development and training to get the buy-in, and so people feel confident, know what they're doing.
Yes, you're investing in your people. You're investing in your instructors and your teachers, their knowledge. You're not investing in a resource.
Right.
And that's really what the training is all about. It's about theory, and developing your personal theory of teaching and understanding others allows you to collaborate in such a more meaningful way as opposed to just being handed something. So it's been really comprehensive.
Yeah, that's great. Also, another one is LLI, Leveled Literacy Intervention.
Correct.
So explain that then, Danielle.
LLI is part of Literacy Collaborative. However, it's more of an intervention. It's Leveled Literacy Intervention, deals with guided reading. Guided reading is a part of Literacy Collaborative. It's one component of that framework. LLI is an intense guided reading group, and it's done in small group, 1-on-6, for about 30-45 minutes. So we implemented that first so that we could hit our learners who are struggling the most right now. So that is fully implemented here at Hamilton.
And I think you explained like 3 tiers, tier 1, 2, and 3.
Correct. Tier 1 is your general classroom. Tier 2 is a little bit more support, and Tier 3 some more intense support. LLI is Tier 2 because it is done in a group setting. You could do it at a Tier 3, but that would mean more of a one-on-one setting.
So you look at the individual child, see where they are, where they need to go, and that's how you decide which tier, if you will. And so you could have a classroom full of students, reading this type of book or this thing. So really differentiating the instruction.
It is exactly that, differentiated instruction. So the children start with a benchmark, and that benchmark determines what reading level they're at. We don't teach them by what grade level we're at. We teach them by what reading level they're at.
I think that's key because
is
the old
key.
school, it was,
Yes.
you're in 5th grade, this is it.
Yes, and so, in a classroom, for example, say you have 3rd grade classroom, your struggling readers are met where they are at and bring them forward, yet your higher readers or your more gifted readers, they're not just sitting there, they are pushed even further at their reading level.
Right, that's great. And then 2, again, talking about training, there was intensive training for some specific teachers for this LLI program.
Yes. First of all, they had to be trained on benchmark assessment. So how do you determine a child's reading level? And then part of that then is trying to figure out, okay, I know their reading level, but what are their miscues? Where are they at in their reading processes? What strategic actions do they know how to do, and where do I need to start? So that was an intense 2-day training, and that was for our title teachers and our special education staff, because they're the ones who will be implementing LLI currently. Now that will roll out more next year, but this year, right now, it's special education and title staff. Then they had to come back, and we had another intense 3-day training on how to use the LLI program itself. And then once they got going with it, we actually brought the trainers back again, and they had a question answer time. It was a 1 day, but they'd been out there, they'd been using the resources, and so they were able to come back and ask the questions that they needed answered at that point.
Again, the richness is coming back and asking the questions and sharing, well, this worked for me, this didn't, whatever.
Yes.
So how's that going in the building?
Oh my gosh, we have seen such amazing growth. It is unbelievable. And the great thing about this program is it encompasses the 5 components of reading. The kids, and it's all intertwined. In the past, I think a lot of us have thought, oh, we need to teach phonics or we need to teach fluency. That's not necessarily the case. Sometimes it is, but this program does weave everything together in a meaningful way.
And what we found, just with all the intervention tools that we have, is you get to a lot of parent meetings and an intervention assistance team. So once we kind of hit those Tier 2 level interventions, we like parents to be brought into the loop. And in the old model, it felt as if we're throwing a lot of acronyms at parents, IAT, LLI. You know, there are so
Alphabet
many
soup.
alphabet soup things that parents were often wondering, how can I help and support at home? And now with LLI and with the other tools, we can really break it down to the exact things that they can support at home. It's just made the intervention process just incredibly better.
Yes, and I will say too, one of the things what you're addressing is with LLI, a child brings a book home every day. So the parents get to read with their children every day.
And that's key, as we all know.
Yes.
Mothers that read to us.
Yes.
All right, so it sounds like we have reading pretty well covered. Let's talk about math, because we're working on a different math strategic plan.
Yes, we are. So next year
Because
we
we have nothing
will-
else to do, so let's do the math. 'Cause
That's right.
The district really has invested a lot to get the curriculum aligned with the
Yes.
state standards.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, that's at the administrative level now. More work for these guys. We've been reading math literature and learning about best practices in mathematics instruction. And hopefully by summertime, we'll start to roll out some professional development with our teachers on the pedagogy and instruction for mathematics. We are purchasing new resources, so that will be investigations at the K-5 level, and then the 6-8, 6-9 will be connected math.
So it's a transition then. It's not just one piece, elementary. It goes up and follows the student.
Yes, it'll be vertically aligned through all of the grades.
And we're rolling that out then next year as well, starting with the PD this summer.
Yes, so it's
Okay.
kind of a two-part plan. One is the resources, but like we talked about earlier, the resources are just that. It's the instruction that matters. So we'll also be working with our teachers to make sure that instruction is aligning to the standards.
You know, people think once you're a teacher, that's it, but teachers are constantly learning
They are
new
lifelong
strategies.
learners.
Yes, they sure are.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. What we found, you know, there's a lot of fear at home, you know, about math, and you do hear things about new math, common core math, and what we're trying to get is beyond that. I use an example all the time of if I say 4 times 6 and a student has been doing flashcards in a very procedural way, they can tell you 24. But if I say I have 4 groups of 6 students, how many students do I have in my class? Sometimes students struggle with that problem. So the idea is that we're kind of moving just beyond a basic computation and getting into those real world strategies that they're going to use in their futures.
And we talk about math and reading. Obviously, that's a focus, but other subjects are embedded in both of these programs.
Yes, and that's
Social
why
studies,
literacy.
what have you.
Yes, that's why it's called collaborative, because it brings all of those elements together. And a lot of the social studies is integrated into reading and language arts through informational text, nonfiction text. Yes.
Good. Well, it sounds like so far, you know, we're going slow and steady, getting the teachers to have the buy-in. The students seem to be enjoying the books.
Yes.
And again, more stuff next year. So,
More stuff
you know, we
next
always
year.
laugh. People think, you know, teachers have the summers off. They only work 9 months, but we all know that's not true. They're constantly learning.
Yes.
I know now we're in the midst of 6 weeks of testing. So how's that going?
Wonderful.
Day by day.
Yeah, it's not every day, all day. It's just a few
No.
hours each day, but nonetheless.
I do think the breaks have really improved our students' ability to kind of have regular curriculum throughout. We had this week, we've had 3rd and 4th grade Monday and Tuesday, and 5th and 6th. This is for English language arts for 2 days. Then they have a several week break. So
That's nice.
I really think the state has assisted with that, and it seems it's valuing our teachers a little bit more to have
Right.
that instructional component they need.
So it's not all in their face constantly all the time, right? Well, I'm anxious to see how the results work on this, and I appreciate you guys coming in to share us all about all the good things that are going on.
We're
Thanks
very
for having
excited about it.
us.
Thank you.
And we thank you for sharing your time with us on School Matters. Have a great day.